Okay, so this is solving systems of inequalities, and this is our second assignment with this. The directions say sketch the solution to each system of inequalities. So we'll do the odds together as usual, and I'm going to go ahead and do them by hand because you should be able to graph something that is in the pattern y equals mx plus b, and that's the pattern we're dealing with on most of these. Even though we don't have an equal sign, we have an inequality symbol. All right, so you look for the B, that tells you where to put your first point on the y-axis. It's known as the y-intercept. And then the M, if it's positive, it's going to go uphill. If it's negative, it's going to go downhill. Okay, so it's either going to be, let me just make some notes here. The B is the y-intercept. The M, if it's positive, it goes up and right. If the M is negative, it goes down and right. It always goes to the right when we first graph. Okay? And that'll make sure you get a positive slope or a negative slope. So let's go ahead and do number one. We have a starting value or a y-intercept of -2. And our slope is -1. It's invisible, but it's right there. So that's down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. There it is. I can continue the opposite counts to go the other way. That's my first line, and it has a line underneath, so it's going to be solid. So I'm going to go ahead and trace a solid line right there. There we go. The second one, y-intercept is +2, so I go up here. My slope is -5, so down 5, 1 to the right. Here's 2, 4, 5, 1 to the right. Okay? So there's your first two lines, and let's go ahead and do the shading for the first line. This one that we did. The shading, and we'll do this in yellow, is it's less than or equal to, so this first shading is below the graph. Okay? So this marker's a little dead, but it'll be enough to get us through at least one. And the next one, the shading is above the graph, greater than or equal to. So here's this one. If you have trouble figuring out what is above or below, remember that if the tree is going to fall, pretend this line is a tree, it falls down to the ground. So which direction is it falling? That's going to be the below. The way it's not going to fall is above. So this tree is falling below, so this is shaded below. This tree would fall below, the shading is above, so it's over here. So notice the double shaded area is way over here on this little corner here. They're both double shaded right there. Okay, now let's put this one in the calculator. We may not put all of them in, but we'll put this one in just to make sure. And just to remind you guys that you can put them in the calculator. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my graph screen. And I want to put this in as an inequality. So when I see that f of x equals, let me zoom in. I'm going to delete the equal sign with my delete key. And I get a menu of options. I want to change it to less than or equal. There it is. So y is less than or equal to -x minus 2. Push enter. There's that first line. Okay, so now let's tab, put in the next one. Y is greater than or equal. Y, and then control equal sign to get to this menu. Greater than or equal to -5x plus 2. There you go. So there it is on the calculator screen. There's the same double shaded area that we have on the graph. Let's do number 3 real quick. we will put this on do it by hand again, and then see what we have. So here I have a y-intercept of 2, so I go up 2. My slope is positive, it's going to go uphill, up and right, up 1 over 2. So up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, and then do opposite counts to get the other direction. It is less than or equal to, so I'm going to go ahead and make a solid line. There's that. And since it's less than or equal to, the shading is going to be below. So let's go ahead and shade it. I need a new marker. I'm going to grab one. Let's see if this is a little better. A little bit, not too much, but we got there. Okay, the next equation, down 3 is what that's telling me to do. Oh, sorry, down from here. 1, 2, 3, there it is. And I actually almost did something that is a common mistake. I almost started from the previous point. We always start from the origin. So this is my y-intercept. And then down 2, 1 to the right. Down 2, 1 to the right. Now I can't go much further, but when you do opposite counts, when I have these 2 points, what would I do to get a straight line? Well, you could just climb your stairs now that you have 2 points. Up and over, up 2 and over, up 2 and over, up 2 and over, and so on the whole way. And you get your straight line. Whenever I say up and right or down and right, I'm talking about getting at least 2 points that way, if at all possible, and then you can just notice the pattern and continue whatever way you want from there, because you'll have the right direction at least. There's my dotted line because there's no equal part on that inequality. So I'm going to make that dashed. And that is going to be below also. So the double shaded area is right here, this double shaded area. That's the solution. We won't do that in the calculator just for time's sake, but we'll do 2 on the back, and I'll do 1 more in the calculator at least. Let's do number 5. We have y is less than or equal to negative 5 halves x minus 2. Piece of cake. This minus 2 is telling me to go down 2 from the origin. There's my y-intercept. And I'm going down 5, 2 to the right from there. So this might be a little challenging. And I could see if you wanted to put it in the calculator, but I'll show you how I would do it. Down 5, 2 to the right. Down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See, I can still estimate that, and then 2 to the right. 1, 2. So I know I'm going like this, right? Now that I've done that, I can do this counting this way. Up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, left 2. Up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, left 2. And now I have the line on the entire grid. That has the line underneath, so I'm going to make it a solid line. All right, that shading is going to be below. Let's try to find a marker that works. Oh, there's one. When I left a second ago, I grabbed a handful of these, just in case. Okay, so there's shading below for that one. The next line is up 2 from the origin. Here we are. And another negative slope. So down 1, 2 to the right. Down 1, 2 to the right. Down 1, 2 to the right. And so on. When I do my opposite counts, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. There. Up 1 over 2. There I go. This does not have a line underneath the inequality, so I will leave it dotted or dashed. There you go. So this is less than as well, so I will be shading below again. This entire area below. And you can see the double shaded area is all right here. Double shaded area. Okay. The last one, I will go and solve for y, but I'm also going to put this one in the calculator just to show you. Okay, no, the main thing is, when we say we want you to solve for y, we definitely at least want you to be able to go from standard form to slope-intercept form. Because it's always the same two steps. You do it in two steps. You move this term over across the equal sign, and you change the sign of it. If it was positive, it's negative, right? Then you divide by this number, and if whatever that is, positive or negative. That's it. You move this over and change the sign, you divide by this. You have y equals mx plus b after that. Okay, let me demonstrate. Here it is. I'm going to jot down ax plus by equals c as a reference. I'm going to move this across, okay, the inequality, and change the sign. So that 4x becomes negative 4x. Everything else is still over there. That 2 is still over there. I'm going to divide by, oh, there's nothing there but a 1. So I divide by 1 and nothing changes. You divide this by 1 and nothing changes. You divide that by 1, nothing changes. So I'm left with y is less than negative 4x plus 2. The only time we flip the inequality is if you're dividing by negative and we divided by positive 1. So nothing changed. There it is. Okay, now I can go ahead and graph that inequality. This plus 2 means I go up 2. And then negative 4 means down 4, 1 to the right. Down 4, 1 to the right. I'm 1 square off the grid. Oh, sorry. 1 square off the grid there. Let me do that again since I was off screen. Down 4, 1 to the right. Down 4, 1 to the right. I just guesstimated an extra square there. Okay, let's go ahead and graph, make that line. It's going to be a dotted line or a dashed line because we don't have the line underneath the inequality. There you go. The shading for that is below. And that's the dead one. There's the good one. All right. And let's do the other one. Y is greater than negative 2. What in the world do we do? Well, if this was an equation, if we had y is equal to negative 2, this is a special case. Where's the slope? Where's the number with the x? It's not there because it's 0. And we can graph this. I'll show you in a second. But just know, if you have something like this, the line is always going to be where y is negative 2. Well, where's that at? It's right here, 2 down. The line is always right here. Since it is, there's no line underneath here, it's going to be a dotted line right across this line. And you'll see the value of y is always negative 2. There it is. Since it says y is greater than negative 2, I'm going to shade above that line. So I'll do it this way. Maybe it's easier to see the double shading if I do dots or slashes like that. So there's my orange shading, there's my yellow shading, here's the solution, the double shaded area. Now to demonstrate, I will put this in the calculator just to show you guys. Okay, so I'm going to put in both of them, and the fun thing about this, okay, maybe fun's a stretch, not fun, but the easy thing about this is you don't have to get y by itself when you put it in the calculator. I delete my equal sign, I go down to relation, and I type it in as it is, 4x plus y, and then I go control equal less than, oh, there we go, less than 2. Okay, push enter. There we go. Yeah, the lights just went off. It happens when there's no motion in the room. Okay, so I'm going to tab, and I'm going to put y is greater than negative 2. Y, control equal, greater than negative 2. There we go. It's the exact same shading and exact same double shading I have in my original. Hope that helps.